Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another wondrous Propagandacast from the host, Imperial Dane. On Monday, novice fight awaits you. Yes, indeed. Some novice mistakes of a different kind today. A one on Kholodny Ferma. We shall be watching. Barcfelt fighting for the Soviet 50th Tank Corps going up against Femurnadir of Kampfgruppe Ferdinand, fighting for the Reich, starting out with an MG42, it seems. Whereas Barcfelt is standing out with a support weapon Campania, which is not what I usually recommend from either side, as that will definitely be lacking in infantry. And so if the Soviet player is going to be putting himself at a bit of a disadvantage within the first few minutes, since of course he's going to be lacking things to take territory with. So in that sense, this is some less than good stuff going on, and certainly not I would recommend to someone unless they are much confident with the game, and even then I'm not entirely confident with it myself. MG42 that does arrive. Grenadiers quickly following up there for Fim. We'll just call him Robert. Or Heinz, more specifically. Heinz, yeah. Good name. Company is finally moving out, taking some point, but already there the German player is getting an upper hand in terms of territory, setting up a bit of barbed wire to deny cover there. That's a nice move. Maxim standing out there for Barcfelt. Heinz's MG42 moving ahead. Very much ahead with absolutely nothing, ensuring there's nothing in front of it. This is a bit of a risky move, something that could easily backfire here on Heinz. And by backfire, I do mean backfire. In this case, though, he gets lucky. It was only some combat engineers. Maxim being sent northwards. And already, of course, Barcfelt runs into some issues with his strategy, which already encounters basically encountering a single MG42, and even then he's going to be further delayed in taking territory. Grenadiers arriving here for Heinz, moving up. Hopefully, we'll be supporting the MG42. Conscripts got arriving from Barcfelt. MG42 covering here. Slow advance. Very slow. Rushing straight for the fuel there. Grenadiers following up. Might encounter that Maxim if they're not careful. And there we go. Barcfelt looks to be pulling back a bit, or perhaps trying to draw out the Grenadiers into the open. And there we go. Maxim fires away. Immediately sitting out to pressing some of the Grenadiers. Mortar quick follow-up there for Heinz. Interesting. Conscripts moving up to support the Maxim. MG42 very much on its own. But considering that Barcfelt is seeing most of his forces up north, he should be somewhat safe there. Combat engineers once more running straight into the MG42. Another Grenadier squad on the way for Heinz. We might want to turn the Maxim towards the enemy infantry. Also might want to get the conscripts into the house or something before the Grenadiers make it into there. Looks like the Maxim does the trick. More setting up nearby to support. Another conscript squad arriving for Barcfelt. Grenadiers forced away. Russian player not making that much progress at the moment. And Boris died as the part of the roof collapsed on him.
What are your orders? Pioneers ready for anything. Our MG42s have arrived.
Quick to move on here, though. And might be sending in the conscripts to deal with the mortar. A bit of aggressive play there from Barcfelt. Grenadiers with light machine gun spotting the Maxim. Maxim coming under fire. Already one man down. What are you doing there, Barcfelt? What are you doing? Pioneers quick to retreat. Taking up, also going on there. Securing the center. Looks like he's ignoring the south as the MG42 takes away territory there. Although if he can take this point, of course, he's going to cut off the fuel because Heinz hasn't been securing this spot at all. But so far, this is definitely a bit of odd play. Rushing the Maxim into the house, or the shack right there. And can't actually fire up from this angle, so I mean, it's pretty pointless. Plus, it's going to make his Maxim inside the building a much easier target for mortars. Since it's already low on health, and of course the shack itself is also more likely to collapse. So this just seems like a really, really poor decision by Barcfelt. More conscripts arriving. Of course, now forced to retreat the Maxim. Will it make it though? And of course, right here would be a good opportunity for Barcfelt to actually mine. Make it harder for the Germans to advance. Well, rather looks like Barcfelt isn't interested. Another Grenadier squad on the way. Interesting, interesting.
Grenadiers reporting. We are under attack. Be ready. Heads down.
Barcfelt keeps forgetting there's an MD-42 roaming about in the south, which is not really good, and these conscripts might want to consider getting the devil out of there. Also, yeah, I forgot about doctrines. But we are looking at assault support, Jaeger infantry and Jaeger armor, popping over to Barcfelt, Guard motor, Guard rifle, shock rifle, so pretty much standard stuff there for the Soviet player. Mortar bit boldly advancing, coming and finally from the combat engineers. Who shall be the victor of this fight? Looks a bit unimpressive though.
He's dead. We are ready for action.
Quickly mounting for a counter-attack.
Yes.
About damn time.
Contact. Blizzard conditions are imminent.
Lots of troops hanging about there in Barcfelt's base, not doing an awful much. Shock troops now arriving, so he's actually gone for the shock rifle doctrine pretty quickly on.
We could use some action to keep
Which could mean KV-8s, IS-2s, and of course, shock troopers. And those we're definitely seeing right now. With the PPSH-41s. So it looks like he's clearly interested in applying some serious infantry pressure onto his opponent. Mr. Heinz of Kampfgruppe Ferdinand. Quick Molotov here through the window, Grenadiers lighting up. Forced to retreat. So far though, Barcfelt is not really doing very well. And shock troops mean they're getting suppressed and pinned by the MD-42. Of course, they're going to be much harder to kill due to their body armor, but still. Mortar in a nice defensive supportive position, that's good. Less good, of course, the Grenadiers getting suppressed. Rifle grenades firing away, in this case not doing too much. Molotov. And another MD-42, so very, very heavy tier 1 from Heinz. 3 Grenadier squads, 2 MD-42s and a mortar, that's quite a bit, although he should get these into some heat because they're about to die of cold. Come on, Barcfelt. Get into things, Molotov. You've got an excellent opportunity right here to lob off a Molotov, but apparently not interested or apparently not paying attention. Except now he's moving, in which case it might be a bit too late. And there we go, Molotov. And moving on to tier 3. They're not building anything. A second squad of shock troopers, Barcfelt really investing heavily in them.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector. Grenadiers.
North is Soviet, south is German, holding most of the victory points, so that's definitely going to give him some kind of advantage if he holds on to it. Conscripts here might want to consider getting out of there. Doctrine chosen here for Heinz. And an Opel Blitz quickly follows up. Conscripts here. Not sure why sending a solo squad, health squad that close. That was just a waste of conscripts. Just a senseless waste of conscripts. But the Opel Blitz has arrived. And likely will secure that point. Shock troopers continue to advance. Looks like he's not pushing them towards the enemy. He's just going to have them take this half of the other map. Applying some nice pressure here against Heinz. Conscripts versus Grenadiers. The Grenadiers light machine gun really giving them the advantage against the conscripts despite being low on health and low in numbers themselves. And there we go, support armor co-op. At the same time the Tank of E battalion command is going up for Barcfelt. And the Maximus finally forced to retreat from here. Lots of Grenadiers standing about doing nothing. They could have aided here or been applying pressure elsewhere. So that's a bit of a mistake there from Heinz. Again, you don't have units standing about doing nothing when there's fighting and shooting of Bolsheviks to be done.
Our forces increase.
This is not the trenches of World War I. You are not expected to sit around all day.
We are losing a sector.
And an officer arrives. Ja, wunderbar. Wunderbar. Let's see if we can actually use him though. And there go, full on assault versus the shock troopers. Close again to get in the most effective submachine guns. Quickly getting suppressed. I mean, 2 machine guns and grenade. My one is. Oh well. Time to get them out of their Barcfelt. And a conscript squad rushing ahead. Seems a bit over the top. Veterans E2. And there we go. We are seeing concentrated fire, increasing the accuracy and the rate of fire of weapons. Get out of there, man. And there we go. Concentrated fire really taking a huge toll. That was pretty much done by Barcfelt. And just resulting in those conscripts getting utterly wasted on the spot. And again, hanging about with a lot of units standing about doing nothing, but now actually gaining overall map control again. A bit the problem here with Heinz basically standing about doing nothing several times, you know, not pressuring with infantry somewhere. And again, having several squads doing nothing again. That's not good. That is, in fact, bad. Bad being unsurprisingly bad. Still would like to see Barcfelt setting up some mines here and there, but T-34's on the way. Some tanks. Pushing north with 1 force. Shock troops continue to hang about in the south. And center seems a bit ignored. Nobody wants the munitions there.
Forces are capturing our supplies.
Fresh engagement. Quick grenade in first. And looks like the officer went down. Leaving the command squad a bit on its own. Need to get it out there. Need to get it out there, Heinz. Grenadiers next. Well played there by Barcfelt. And there we go. 2 squads run off. The power of the shock troopers. And T-34 arrives.
Forces are neutralizing a sector.
And quickly getting a field gun as well, just in case the enemy gets some armor, to have something perhaps a bit more expedient with dealing with it, I suppose. Push up north. And looks like Heinz is getting ready for a push down south with the Panzer IV following up to support it. Going for the cut-offs. Aggressive play. MD-42 in then a slightly dangerous position though, considering the state of that church. And the flamethrowers were upgraded on the combat engineers. But not an awful lot going on, so just going to speed this up a wee bit.
We are losing territory. AT gun is ready for combat. We have the point.
But again, I mean, really, it's going to be these, you know, really quiet periods on both sides. And there we go, nice maneuver from the MD-4 to actually manage to hit the shock trooper squad and the flank Panzer IV quickly following up. Machine guns blazing away. Ponchacure there, T-34 rolling back it looks like. Field gun ready to protect the base against any Panzer encroachment.
Field gun standing by.
And looks like Heinz is making it easy as possible, taking the road. With no support at all for the Panzer IV, but he is quick to pull it back once he realizes what's going on, which is good. Shock troopers flanking in from the north there. Good, good. South being taken back, so he can find out a fuel point again. Why did he move up the MD-42 like that? Come on, Heinz, show some sensibility.
Cut.
They should not be at the forefront. And there we go, wiped out by the T-34. Well done by Barcfelt. Ramming in, hitting the Panzer IV and actually managing to knock out its main gun. Not really handsomely played there by Heinz. Lots of infantry following up. Panzer IV almost wiped out. Shock troops continue here, getting suppressed by the MD-42 in the church. Combat engineers for some reason rushing across the open ground versus all these grenadiers. Looks like Barcfelt here is perhaps not so strong on when it comes to the concept of cover, which is important. Could of course be why he loves shock troops, because they don't need it as much, although they still benefit, of course. But really that was just a senseless waste of combat engineers. Shock troopers suffering rather grievously toward the machine gun fire, otherwise rifle fire being directed against them. Again, cover is necessary, and a rifle grenade almost wipes out the entire bunch. No, get out of there. And looks like one shock trooper gets extremely lucky and actually survives. Boris Gump.
Engineer standing by. Engineers ready for assignment.
Run, Boris, run! But not too fast, so the NKVD thinks you're a deserter.
Enemy MG! Awaiting command!
And a quick Stuka rolling in there, strafing run. Conscripts playing about here. T-34 stuck in the snow. Threats blasted off. And the MD-42 in dire straits, need to retreat it. Come on. Officer up, but with no support. Panzer IV getting repaired. Where's the other MD-42, which could have been covering the entire thing? And lots of resources being floated. Looks like he might be going for the KV-8. But still also no move at all here from Heinz to actually take the southern fuel point. I mean, he's barely taking any points at all. He seems to be utterly consumed with getting here, attacking towards his opponent's base. He's utterly lost it.
Silenced one of our anti-tank guns.
It would rather appear he's forgotten about everything else. Like that, the fact that the map actually matters. That's not really good. And of course now he's just standing out here firing away at a T-34. He could be taking points, he could be doing something. Instead he's camping in front of a tank, which he can't harm anyways. I mean really, this one shouldn't be necessary to be pointing out. You know, Fritz, I don't believe the Führer Directive said we should be making a camp out here. Oh, shut up. What's the worst that could happen? The Russians actually counter-attack with a KV-8 flamethrower tank and burn us to death. Ta! Officer actually using smoke. Fancy that. Actually using it to steal the Cis-6. Or Cis-3. Well done. They're actually well played. But by Joe, a KV-8 actually appears. Still, nice use of the officer. I mean, I can't fault Heinz on not using the officer and certainly not making some good use out of him. That was pretty clever. But clever doesn't really work when you make yourself a unit bigger mistake. And you've got a flamethrower tank bearing down upon you, mate. And of course, this is his punishment for camping in front of the enemy's base instead of taking points and applying some pressure elsewhere on the map. We do see that the Stug has arrived. The Sturmgeschütz 3, Ausführung G. KV-8 getting blasted a bit here. So it would later on actually just go to a T-34 for flamethrower tank business. That's a fun little fact there. Quickly shifting over to the 45mm gun there. Stug pulling back. Might want to pull it further back because there's no support. In fact, he might want to consider pulling back the front line. I would argue this is just tempting fate.
AT-gun ready.
And he could also be moving over some units here. I mean, come on, Barcfelt, get moving. Both players have these huge gaps in times when nothing really happens again. That's not really good. Also, more's left behind. That could easily be recruited by the Soviets and really put some pressure onto the Germans. And what? Get that MG42 out of the church and pull back that Stuke before the field guns blast it. Come on. Panzer IV rolling back in. Come on, Heinz. Common sense, please. A church which is about to collapse is not a good place for an MG42. Why does he then proceed to rush in his Panzer IV close to the infantry, which he probably knows has anti-tank grenades straight in front of 2 field guns? Quick follow-up with a larger infantry assault. Still retaining the Panzer IV a bit too close. Barcfelt actually pushing on. MG42 still needs to get out of the church, although we do see the officer nearby, boosting troops, boosting their accuracy, of course. There you go, the MG42 all of a sudden, or the field gun all of a sudden collapses. And a nice grenade there from the shock troopers. Nice grenade. Though he might want to consider getting away from the shock troopers. Also noting now that a Tiger is available for calling, he just in fact needs the fuel. But of course, here's the thing, he's been utterly consumed with this, he's been forgetting most of the map, and he's forgetting the bloody fuel points. I mean, he's so utterly consumed with this, he's forgetting the rest of the map, he's forgetting the vital resources.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
I mean, really? Looks like the fuel tank cooked off a bit. Going for the harassment. Well done there by Barcfelt. Barcfelt generally seems to have a better understanding of how you play the game, which is playing the map, instead of just rushing in a beeline towards his enemy's base, putting troops into buildings and then not doing anything except camping. I mean, that really is a bit of a bad strategy, if it can be called that. And he's just rushing towards his enemy's base with a single Stuke. No idea if there's anything waiting for him. No reconnaissance, no support. He could easily risk one shot and that Stuke is gone. I mean, this is just really not good. I've absolutely no idea what's going through his head there. I mean, there's some really clearly some obvious good ideas, but then all of a sudden you have to be wondering if he left his little sister or brother to play the game for him. Or if Mr. Brain went off to the local pub.
Yes?
I mean, there's some really bizarre gaps in sort of thing. I mean, there's some really promising things, and then you have things you just really have to wonder why. Warum? Stuff like that. It makes no sense at all. Like, for example, the way he handles MGs or tanks, but then at the same time really makes some good usage of the officer. And for example, the clever trick there with smoking up the field gun and then stealing it away. I mean, that really made this difficult. And again, why not send in the infantry to take the points? Why rush in the MG42 into Blizzard in front of the enemy's troops, where they could find you? I mean, there seems to be absolutely no guiding tactical principle behind how so he does some of the things. And of course now he's blobbing up everything around the officer, which is not really how you ought to be doing it either. Although I also feel a bit disappointed in the Soviet player for not stealing that mortar away. And of course then he proceeds to split everything up. I mean, the officers should be with some troops, but you know... I mean, with shock troops running about, you know, should at least have some sort of combination force for dealing with them. Also beginning to float manpower. How about getting an open blitz then, or something? Going for the cutoff point there with the officer. Well done, but also going to freeze to death. Barcfelt getting more field guns, but not more infantry, not more armour. And again, there's no real idea here from Heinz that perhaps, he might want to take the fuel points, or at least deny them to his opponent. But time for the mid-game analysis. So what is the situation currently? I mean, we're seeing a rather interesting split of the map. The Serb player sort of dominating the flanks. He's at least got the fuel, which is important. On the other hand, we do see that Heinz is pushing very straight towards his base, but again, that's it. It's pretty much just all head-on rushes with heavy losses all of a sudden. Of course, his opponent, of course, is sort of doing the same and also suffering heavy losses, because the problem is here a bit, clearly Barcfelt having a bit of trouble with unit preservation and cover. And in that sense, he's actually suffered some extremely heavy losses. The only thing that's rather keeping him going, amongst other things, are his shock troops, and even looks like he lost one of those squads. So that's rather problematic. Oh, never mind, he actually has one left, so both of them, so that's rather alternating. And certainly in that regard, that might have even been part of his strategy, realizing, Boris, I do seem to be terrible at keeping my troops alive. Is that so, Ivan? Yes! Perhaps you should go with shock troops. Less likely to get shot, or at least die from their shots. Ah, well, I'll try that instead. And certainly, that's a clever way of coming around that problem, at least for some time. Although, of course, a bit of an expensive measure. Austrian flak pounds away, but, he's getting so little fuel. And certainly, fuel is not everything, but even then, he's got his opponents with 2 fuel points, and he's got, his flanks covered. He could easily attack Heinz here in the flanks, do some terrible damage. Heinz is doing nothing to fortify the area. He's doing nothing to cover his flanks. Slightly move some troops there occasionally. There's no mines, no bunkers, no anything. That's really going to hurt him in the longer run as well. Points are definitely ticking down for him as well. And he seems to be not really reacting to the fact that, oh wait, I'm actually dealing with shock troopers. I might want to be careful about sending out troops on their own, when there is a very large chance they will be running into 6 very burly, aggressive Soviet soldiers with body armor and submachine guns. But apparently that really hasn't so far factored into his plans either. Again, some clever tactical play here and there, but strategically he's suffering rather greatly. And that's going to hurt in the long run, I fear. On the other hand, Barcfelt actually got a clear idea strategically, and it all seems to be more clear of his own mistakes and flaws, and certainly he's taking some measures to actually deal with them, which again is commendable, though he might want to ensure they don't freeze to death. But, if he keeps pressuring here from the flanks, and he perhaps also launches in some armor to hit in the flanks, he could actually do a lot of damage, and eventually he might win that way. And of course, he's got the 2 field guns, and in that regard, if Heinz here keeps up with his rather, substandard armor tactics, which is rather where he seems to be having some problems, because infantry tactically he's reasonably strong, although with some tendency of blowing up, which again is not good. Again, he's going to run into some problems. Again, Heinz needs to secure the flanks, needs to get the fuel, he needs to set up some mines at vital points, needs to secure that munitions point. Why he hasn't taken it again? Heinz just keeps overlooking points, not doing anything. It's not really good. It is not acceptable. Anyways, let's return to the fight. During the blizzard, which of course also means he can't see very bloody far. Which also leaves his troops much more blind. It's actually to the advantage of the shock troopers, and still have a much better chance of closing in with their submachine guns. So of course in that sense, shock troopers are also quite handy in such weather, in such kinds of maps. Basically any troops with submachine guns. Although, just as I said that, the blizzard ended. Or it's about to, seems to be ending. Bother. Heinz clearly has got the better unit preservation, but he's not really good at holding the map. And again, thinking about the map. And of course, he keeps forgetting about the shock troopers, it seems. In this case, he might even be able to soon create a Veteran G2 shock trooper squad, which is not really good. Strength and run in. Ooh, there we go. Save the day for the Grenadiers. Just barely though. Another T-34 rolling in. Soviet tank of choice until T-3045. Panzer IV rolling in. And there we go, firing up with the field guns on the Panzer IV. Both shots penetrating. Really bad for the Panzer IV. Need to get it back for repairs. Stug moving up. Ostwind Flak Panzer moving up. Not sure what the Grenadiers are doing this close out in the open versus the T-34. And of course now there's no infantry supporting the armour. In fact, it's just tanks and assault guns. And of course he's charging them straight at the field guns. In that sense, it means Barcfelt's actually got them covered, so they can't be easily be outdone. Pull that Panzer IV back. I mean, now Heinz is just throwing away his armour, it would seem. There we go, Panzer IV wasted. Not really impressive at all. Ostwind moving in, straight in front of the two field guns again. Heinz, why on earth are you attacking directly into a wall of anti-tank guns? Which, by the way, was also German tactics, which the Soviets actually adopted against the Germans. I mean, there was actually a lot of, things like that during World War II. But really, Heinz looks like he's getting a bit lucky, though, due to a lack of mines being laid down by his opponent, of course, which is also interesting because, I mean, Heinz is actually being pretty obvious in the direction which he's attacking, and it rather seems like, Barcfelt isn't doing much to really counter it with mine, for example. But there we go, Ostwind down. Stug needs to be careful still. And there we go. Stug also gone. 3 tanks, or well, 2 tanks and an assault gun gone in the blink of an eye. Not really good. And another strafing run just to deal with a single squad of combat engineers. Come on, Heinz. That's just a waste of 120 munitions. Troops freezing to death. Again, losing the north. Again, Heinz having lots of units standing about doing nothing. Again, that is bad. I repeat, bad. Not taking ground and not fortifying ground, not doing anything. And he's floating 1,200 manpower. Again, if you're finding yourself with a lot of resources and don't know what to do, just build something. Don't float that much manpower. Don't ever do that. How many times must I say so? How many people must send me in replays with them floating 12 or 1,300 manpower and asking what to do better? Don't float! Nicht floaten something, you blighters! How many times must I shout out in disgust at this? I mean, it can't be some sort of, riddle only worthy of Sherlock Holmes to be sold. Don't float resources. And again, as I keep on saying, if you find yourself floating resources, don't know what to do, just do something. You will afterwards learn to figure out what to do with it more sensibly. But first, just learn by reflex to build something, then learn by reflex to build something more useful. Don't float that much. I mean, he could just gone for Opel Blitz, has just gotten more of other resources that was necessary. Nice usage there of the incendiary barrage, though. Time to put over to Barcfelt, who on the other hand is not floating resources, getting more field guns. Though interesting enough, he's not recruiting them. Why he's building more if he can just recruit? I mean, there's plenty of field guns for him to use. It's a wasteless manpower. Plus, of course, there's also the mortar he could be utilizing. On the other hand, he's still dominating most of the map, so that's something. We're also learning here the victory points continue to go down for Heinz as the Kampfgruppe Ferdinand. Another Panzer IV rolls in.
We are ready for anything. Comrade? We are ready for anything.
T-34 crewed, loaded and ready.
Incendiary artillery is now available.
Panzer IV rolling in. Maxim crew rather realizing the extent to which the Maxim is used against tanks.
Under attack by enemy armor! They've opened up on us!
Panzer IV needs to get away before the anti-tank grenade goes off. It looks like this time it failed to penetrate the frontal armor. A bit of like there.
Enemy contact! AT-gun here.
Points being secured bravely.
We're under attack!
Maxim on the run. Yes, lost one shock trooper squad now. Sadly, the one which was close to Veteran T2. Really, Barcfelt, really. And looks like another blow-up maneuver. Really, Heinz? Really? I mean, otherwise you seem to be so clever, and then all of a sudden you just decide to just move in one swath. Of course, also not doing anything to defend the south, which you've just taken. No mines, no bunkers, no anything. Really? Also, fun fact about tanks, they're not really good at the front line of your defences. Usually tanks were not used for that, and the Germans hate that, and if they had, they went them hauled down and usually behind something else to act as a bunker. They did not have them at the very front of the front line. And I mean, if that Panzer IV, for example, gets caught in between something, it's going to be a lot of trouble. Again, it's going to be easy in a blizzard. I mean, tanks don't see far enough in blizzards either ways. I mean, this is just a poor tactical decision. You do not hold a tank at the front line with nothing in front of it doing a blizzard. Even not doing a blizzard, you shouldn't be doing it.
What do you want, comrade?
Enemy forces are attempting to
I mean, this is just a terrible decision going on from Heinz.
Your orders,
And Barcfelt here needs to just keep moving. Schnell. Oh, something faster in Russian.
field gun standing by.
Another Oberblitz arriving. Like the mechanized company going up now. Interesting move. Not sure why. Might be he wants some packs, though I would say that's a bit late. But at least he shifted away from direct head-on assaults towards his opponent's base. A third Oberblitz, so looks like he's decided to take me up my advice, just much too late.
capturing supply sector.
And of course Panzer IV caught. Rather, he should have pulled it back towards reserve position, then used it for a counter-attack. Here, it did nothing.
You have orders? What do you want?
But there you go.
Fresh units on the field.
Another T-34 riding for Barcfelt. He likes those. Shock troopers quickly following up. Maxim providing covering fire for the advance. Well done. And Panzerfaust. Penetrating the armor of the T-34. The Panzerfaust pretty much though could penetrate all armor in the war. At least some of the later variants. Some of the earlier might have had trouble with later variants of the Panzerfaust. Really pretty much could penetrate the thickest of armor. Even a King Tiger. Though interesting enough, whilst they actually were working on a Panzerfaust, which would rather work like a puncher shape that is basically loaded in a rocket after the other. There you go, T-34 advancing. Grenadier shock troopers need to get out of there. And incendiary barrage going in. Finally he retreats, but Barcfelt lost another shock trooper squad again. Barcfelt clearly having some troubles with unit preservation, but clearly so does Heinz. He just lost an MD4 to hand out to his opponent. But also a problem, they're not really good at recruiting others' equipment, at least Barcfelt isn't. But of course again, making advances, taking ground, possibly taking some names as well. 3 Oberblitzes up. Panzerabwehrkanone arriving. The CIS 3, which basically meant, it was made in the factories of Stalin. The CIS bit, that is. Or named after Stalin, more specifically. They did have some heavier anti-tank guns. A 100mm gun, in fact.
Combat engineer. Area secured.
That's a little fun fact there.
The men say they are
A fresh mortar out here for Heinz. Pushing forwards with all infantry towards the south.
machine gun ready.
Looks like Heinz's strategies are adapting a bit. Pioneers doing nothing though. Again, lots of units standing about, doing nothing. And a nice use there of concentrated fire, although I question the decision to use it right there against a single squad of conscripts. 3 men left in the middle of the road. Was it really necessary to trigger the ability there? When you had that much firepower? Just a question.
Supply sector under attack.
Of course, he might want to recruit that heavy machine gun, just a thought. 3rd T-34 on the way.
AT gun here.
Bit by bit, we take back what is ours.
Bit by bit. We take back what is ours. Yes. Officer close to Veterans 2, that's lovely.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
And again, Heinz seems to have fallen very hard on the whole blobbing concept all of a sudden, which again he should be careful about. Had his opponent accrued that mortar, that could have gone very...
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
So 3 T-34s certainly building up quite an armoured punch. Supporting them with field guns, he's taking no chances. He's actually combining arms. Who would have thought?
Replacements have arrived.
Going for the cut off. Lovely, lovely.
Soldiers ready. Field gun standing by.
Yes, comrade.
Going for the victory point. And there you go, German troops find themselves faced with a T-34.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
This is our sector now.
All a bit quiet. All a bit quiet. A bit careful play from both players. German player now one holding most of the map, but not most of the victory points.
T-34 ready.
Barcfelt might want to shift something about. Use the T-34s a bit more aggressively towards, perhaps towards the south of Pack 4, giving men sent in to support the infantry.
AT gun has arrived.
And Opel Blitz got spotted. T-34 sets in, but can it do it so fast enough? And Incendiary barrage straight here.
Capture complete.
Oh, that looks like he targeted the house instead. Nope.
Unit count is increasing.
Smoke was a bit misdeceptive. Even the tractor lights in flames. And a heavy panzer co-op for Femurnadir. And noticing, of course, he's gone for assault support. Question is if perhaps he wouldn't just be better off not bothering and going for a Tiger instead. Why the Tiger, you say, Dane? Because he's got heavier frontal armor, thus harder for the T-34 to ram, for starters. But also because, while it's still good against armor, it's, you know, also good against infantry, at least better than the Panther. And we also know he's still got some infantry, he's still got some field guns, which, you know, have infantry crewing them, so the Tiger might be a better choice. And of course, it wouldn't require building this, which is a bit expensive. Plus, of course, the 4th tier. So, I mean, he could have sent resources and that instead went them towards, you know, tanks. But it looks like that is not within Heinz's ideas.
What do you want? T-34
Barcfelt slowly but surely now lining up for something.
We've been spotted.
And there we go, nice hit on the Grenadier squad. Time to call back to Heinz. Got plenty of munitions, plenty of manpower, not a lot of fuel. Getting himself a Panther. And he's ignoring the north, he's ignoring the victory points there.
The communists are coming.
Need to kill some panzers.
And again, he's got plenty of things. Not really doing a lot.
You need something?
Well, there we go. Panzerkampfwagen 5. Part of the Kampfgruppe. Mortar rounds falling through the roof. Or at least ruining the roof.
MG-42 turret is ready.
MG-42 upgrade. That's definitely going to help a bit against infantry.
Could use some action to keep warm.
Panzer here. Engines are warm.
You guys, listen to me if you want to live.
I await your orders.
We are losing a sector.
Bit of fraps issues here during the blizzard, it seems. Clearly on the defrag is needed soon, but quickly back on its feet. Still, I also think now Barcfelt is also getting a bit too passive again. Passiveness is never good. Passiveness allows your opponent to get back in the fight.
Are securing our
Actually setting up some fire pits. I'm also a bit lamenting the fact that no one really bothered with mines at all. That's not good at all. Panther rolling about, not achieving much at the moment.
Under infantry attack.
The enemy is attempting to
Finally splitting up his infantry.
Ready.
Looking up to setting out to push towards the center again.
My service has been ready now.
Those dog new tricks.
3 victory points secured now. Really ticking down here for Heinz.
Ready for orders.
Panther finally gets a move on. No idea watching the officer enter a house that's about to collapse or shatter, whatever. And then quickly gets them out straight in front of the shock troops. But we do see concentrated fire going on here. Machine guns firing away. Again, they get more lethal. Also note here that Panther actually gets an advantage out of it as well. Again, it affects everything. And there we go. 3 kills. Although some of them were heavily wounded. Doing a nice bit of damage there. Again, it also makes them fire fast. Of course, all of a sudden, it got very quickly off a few shots here versus the T-34. Again, officers' concentrated fire ability is actually quite powerful if you actually use it. Bloody well, damn it. And popping smoke up, it looks like as well.
They've given us a field promotion.
Pack 40 firing away.
Enemy anti-tank gun.
There we go. A quick smoke barrage. Panther rolling in. T-34 down. And of course here the Panther rather reveals its problems. It's again not that effective against infantry. We see a bombing strike going in. Fragmentation.
We have 100 points remaining.
And for some reason he chose right there.
The blizzard is
That was a bit awkward.
warning. The troops are freezing to death. Awaiting orders.
Panther taking several hits to the rear. And no response from here. Barcfelt looks like he's finally responding with some tanks, which is good. Field gun cleared up. Come on, push, push. Where's the rest of your forces? Again, standing about, doing nothing. And don't have the tank. Your got heavily damaged, hanging about in the enemy's base. Again, but he quickly fell back into that pattern of, just attacking straight on it. And there we go. Panther immobilized. But at the same time, a KV-8 counterattacks. Of course, now there's really not a lot covering the infantry, and there's only a pack 40, and that the KV-8 is actually well armored to handle. So again, Heinz just set himself up for a nasty trap. Use target weak point. Come on, target weak point. Oh no. Something happened, it got bugged up. Oh dear. And there we go. I don't know what happened. Either way, dead. And actually rushing his pioneers in there with no clear idea. He's getting desperate. He's throwing away units. And he's just lost most of his infantry. Senselessly, obviously. And he's likely going to lose that Panther as well soon enough. Oh, the KV-8 mount again, and he's getting another Panther. No attempt to save the Tiger again. No idea, no interest or anything. Just going to speed this up. There we go. And KV-8 just going to move up, although it might want to move to the rear. Again, units standing out, doing nothing. Again, there are tons of units doing nothing. Throughout the match again, a rather sure sign of a mundane novice fight. Besides floating a resource, it seems. And again, floating 1100 manpower, really?
We have small arms fire.
How many times? And this time the concentrated fire usage just seems pointless. About a second Panther rolling in. And again, why did he use his infantry to attack the base head on, knowing there's a machine gun in place, knowing there's a KV-8 tank? There is no logic to that action. No logic. It just seems like Heinz has thrown every bit of common sense out the window and is just attacking head on desperately. Not even entirely sure why he's attacking like that. He's just doing it. Lots of strafing runs going on, though half the time again they don't achieve much. He should just save up resource for like fragmentation bombing runs at times. Might have worked better against those field guns. There we go, KV-8 down. But another T-34 rolling in. Going to ram, anti-tank grenade off as well, and ooh, hits. Oh, damn close. Officer moving up. Concentrated fire. And popping off a smoke barrage as well. Bravely done there. But in this case, not fast enough. And there we go. Panther down. And game over. Yup. And of course, question is, what lost Heinz the game? I mean, he played really well at times. There was some good ideas, good usage of, the officer. That means quite nice. Overall, he used Moses' doctrine. Some good ideas, but there were also great problems underlying the entire thing. Part of them was, again, floating ridiculous amounts of resources. And, he just completely got so utterly bloody-minded as opponents. Basically forgot everything else. He forgot about resources. He forgot about map control. And that really hurt him. That allowed his opponents to really swing back and win this fight ultimately. The fact that for all his good tactics, he was absolutely rubbish at strategy. He forgot about everything else. No mines either. No bunkers. No anything. And when he just decided to rush up for the heavy armor, he didn't consider any maps. I should just use the Tiger because that's also going to be useful against infantry. No. And there was no attempt, for example, either, perhaps, I should get a Sturm Panzer IV, since that would also be effective against infantry, any sort of anti-tank gun. No, not at all. He went for Panthers. Because, Panthers are Panthers. Yes, they're Panthers, but, they're not unstoppable vehicles of winning. Certainly not when they're fighting on their own with absolutely barely any support. And that was rather also one of the problems. Again, he just rushed in his armor several times without support, and he clearly couldn't handle it. He just kept on losing tanks half the time. Poor armor preservation. And certainly, Barcfelt had, some severe problems with the unit preservation as well. Several times just wasted infantry, not paying attention to what was going on. But ultimately, he was able to take advantage of his opponent's mistakes, weaknesses, come back, fight. But again, he was also passive at times. Again, passiveness was something that affected them both. But at the same time, strategically, Barcfelt did display a clearer head. Although he probably should have minded the areas around here. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it, which I think is the primary purpose of the Monday Night fight. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not replay your own, provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane.